Trying to recover from a broken down heart. It's so hard starting over, fighting your way in the dark. Memories of you haunt me every second of the day. They keep yelling at me in the silence they portray. Screaming in the night, wakes me up in my sleep. My eyes are soaking wet from all the tears that I weep. When you coming home is a question on my mind, but you never answer me, ignoring me.
Pay Jordan Love to be the dude. To be the dude, right? Now, you can't control the drops, but the inconsistency that we see play, that part for him has to be, everybody's got to be able to count. That guy is not going to be the problem. Yeah. And that's my issue with it.
And Jordan Love is in this category that we reward these quarterbacks when they get to a certain point, but the reward that we give them is we're going to grade you on a different scale.
Amen.
Jordan Love can't prove anything to us against the Giants in the middle of the season.
No.
It's already been proven. We already know that you're capable of this. What Jordan Love has to do is like that next level, those bigger games. And so he's not going to silence any doubters until he does it against the Eagles or he does it in the playoffs against one of these bigger teams.
Right.
Unless you're a really deep in the weeds football fan or a Packers message where, like, you don't recognize some of these names he's throwing to, the Savion Williams and the Bo Meltons. These are not your household names, not what he was dealt with. So I will give him a lot of credit for, yes, the drops happened, but also rising above all the injuries on that offense and playing really well.
Back in my day, we used to joke, kickoff coverage makes cowards of us all. It is not for the faint of heart. And that's just the way Aaron Mosby wants it. Here's Aaron at L3, third man in from the left sideline. The Giants, a top 5 return team, and Aaron is leading the charge downfield. Now the Giants do have a blocker for him, but watch Aaron very closely. He gears down just momentarily, and then he accelerates, and he accelerates right by the blocker. Actually uses a pass rush move, a rip move to get by him, and then he is in on the return man. And that kind of hit, with that kind of force and that kind of velocity in the open field, takes some kind of athlete. Now Aaron sold out for the team, fell on his sword, slow to get up, but don't worry, it's merely a flesh wound. Later, Aaron's still at L3, and he covers like he takes it personal, like it's on him and him alone to make the tackle. Once again, he's accelerating past the blocker. He doesn't slow down and patty cake. He uses a hand shiver to get rid of the guy. And now he's in on the return man. And let's focus on Deonte Banks. You talk about a guy who's had the fear of the Lord put into him. Banks wants no part of Aaron Mosby, but he's going to get him anyway. And these big-time blow-em-up type hits are gifts that keep on giving. They not only fire up the team at the moment, they also fire up the guys the next day in the film room.
15 spins his way 20 and was hammered down.
But I came in and, everyone started cheering for me, so it kind of felt good. But, we on to the next game. I just got to do it again. It's not about what you did, it's about what you can keep doing. So I'm going to try to make as big as impact as I can in this game.
Then he's hit and driven down.
Aaron Mosby again. The Packers are finally back to NFC North action on Sunday, kicking off a 3-game stretch against division rivals.
Divisional games are absolutely critical, and you talk about this 3-game stretch, but really all that matters is this one game. I've got a lot of respect for those guys over in Minnesota. I think they got a great roster. I think they got a great coaching staff. So it should be a great football game.
The Vikings, an opponent QB1 loves to face. 9 TD passes during his career, the most against any opponent.
Waiting, throwing, end zone, touchdown!
A lot of different personnel, a lot of different, pressures, things like that. So something you just got to study throughout the week a good amount and just have a plan for a little bit of everything and stick to our rules and our fundamentals as an offense.
You got some boundary corner experience at times. And Justin Jefferson was one of those guys where he had a really tough contested catch against you. You were in perfect position. What did you learn from the battles like that last year that will help you out going against a guy like that again this year?
That was actually my first, when we played here last year, that was my first game playing corner. So I was just learning how to adjust to it. I think the second time we played them in Minnesota, I played a lot better. But I'm definitely comfortable at what I do now. So great player, but you know what time it is.
You're leading the league in fast breakups. What does that mean to you?
I mean a lot for sure, but you know I'm focused on getting wins and stuff like that. But self goals is definitely one of my goals coming to the year. Showing I am who I am and I can play at a high level. Just putting the work in and it's showing.
Do the numbers like that prove that to the outside world that you are who you say you are?
I mean, I don't care what they say. I've been here 4 years. I done maximized my ops every time I got a new op. There's no higher op that you can get than the top corner, so putting it on paper for sure.
How much are you itching for that first pick?
Man, I'm itching. It's all X fault. I was supposed to get one last game, but I'm itching for sure. Just trying to stack the stat sheet for the year. Definitely got all my self goals in reach right now, and just kind of keep making plays.
When you think of the one that got away this year with all those PDs and not a pick, was it the one in New York that you felt like you were closest to getting?
Yeah, that was probably my first real op to go get a ball. Played the post perfectly. I tried to push X out the way and try to get the ball, and he just said, he tipped it, so it's okay. It's going to come back.
Did you notice that it got tipped by
I didn't. I thought it was going to fall in my hands. Okay. And he came to the sideline and said he tipped it. So it's all his fault, for sure.
So you're still looking for that mortgage then?
Yeah, I'm paying rent. I'm still paying rent. It's a nice condo, but it's rent.
How important are these next 3 games?
It's all important. We lost to Minnesota twice last year. We lost to Detroit twice last year, and then split with Chicago. So we 1-0 against Detroit. So we're going to get 1-0 against Minnesota and 1-0 against Chicago. The division game is the biggest game. It's playoff atmosphere. It's playoff games for sure.
Key, do you look forward to going up against 2 really talented wide receivers and Jettas and Jordan Addison?
Yeah, anytime you play a team that got 2 good receivers, it's money on the line. There's plenty of games we played this year that had 2 receivers, so that's just another op for me and CV. And we're just going to keep playing ball. Definitely excited for the matchups, for sure.
When you turn on the film, what has McCarthy kind of shown you? He's been in, he's been out, he's been erratic, sometimes he's been good.
It's just a rookie quarterback, Well, I don't think he's a rookie, right? Is it considered a rookie still? Second year, but a rookie, Just young. It's hard for guys to come in and just excel right away, especially in a league like this when you got good D-line in our division. But he's definitely a good player. He got the arm talent, so, just consistency. You got a hell of a coach, so, that always helps scheme up a lot of guys.
What have you thought of how Carrington's responded to not starting at the start of the year and now he's being a full-time guy and playing well for you guys?
It's kudos to him for sure. I've been in that position where you don't know if you can play 1 week and they just throw you in there and then you start for 2 weeks and then sit. It's hard, but he understands his role and he's always going to maximize his role. Since I've been here, every playoff game I play with has been with CV. So he's definitely had enough snaps and CV's a hell of a player for sure.
What role does confidence play in playing up to your potential? Because CV seems like a guy who's as confident as anyone who's ever come in.
I think playing corner in general, you can't play without having confidence. I know last year all my words I said, people will look at me crazy in the snap, but when you got confidence in yourself, no matter what the outside world look at, when you home in your technique and what God gave you, you play ball. CV's doing the same thing just like me, doing the same thing. I think people always doubted the cornerback room, but it definitely hasn't been an issue this year. So they can say what they want to say. We've definitely been holding.
Your pass defense numbers really across the board are very, very good, except for the one thing, the picks.
Yeah.
Right? Can you win a Super Bowl that way? The way you guys compete on routes, your pass breakups, all those things, without the pick numbers, or do those need to come eventually to get to where you want to go?
Yeah, sure, but we're also playing good team defense. So at the end of the day, you can go out there and get 30 turnovers and 30 picks and not get to the playoffs. So it really don't matter. I think if you play complementary football as a defense, that's what we're doing. We're not just good in the back end. We're good on D-line and linebacker room. So I think we're playing complementary football as a whole. So the picks are going to come. We've had a turnover in the last 5 games, so it just had to get rolling,
You talked about it a little bit with the division as a whole, but last year it was 2 games, 2 points each for Minnesota. When I was talking to Sean, he said you guys owe them. What's the mindset going in against this specific Vikings team?
Same with Detroit. I feel like they caught us when we were still trying to learn the defense. We played them early week 4 last year. We didn't know how it was going to be at corner because Jair was getting hurt. So now we know what we got going in the game. I definitely know I can play corner at a high level. I think the defense is ready to go, and then we're second year in our scheme and our system. So it's not too much coaching; it's just playing and correcting now. Last year was a lot of coaching and teaching, especially in week 4 when we played them the first time at home. So it's a different story this time for sure.
Contextualize how important this stretch, especially this week, is for where you guys want to go.
It's super important. Last year, we went 1-5. It's not where we wanted to be as a team in this division. And so I think this year, we want to, provide just like a new outlook of what type of team that we are. And, we don't want to repeat, that same, the same stuff that we did last year. So I think this is an important game. I think all division games are important. So we've taken it very seriously. Obviously today we had a really good day of practice, and we know that we have a tough stretch. These last however many games that we have, majority of them are division games. So we know that we got to be focused and locked in.
Do you like having it backloaded where it's anyone's division because you all play each other so many times down the stretch?
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be a lot different. Because in the back end of the season, everybody pretty much has their identity as a team, and what you're going. Everybody knows what the opponent is running and what they're doing and trying to scheme up. So, this is really going to be a good tell for I think both teams. Not just this game, but even the other division games, just moving forward of what type of team we have and. It's gonna be very important for us.
How do you think you've positioned yourself for this stretch run, Xavier? You guys always say everything we want is always right in front of us. Now it literally feels like everything's right in front of you. How have you positioned yourself as a team to go through this?
Yeah, I think we've been through already some adverse moments. Obviously, we've had some games where we had to learn from them. Obviously, they resulted in L's, but that's always a learning experience. And I think this team, we've been tested in that aspect of seeing who's gonna, if we're gonna stay together, if we're gonna split apart. And I think we've done a great job of just all staying together. And I think that's gonna help us in this stretch moving forward. So I think it was good that we were able to obviously we didn't want to lose these games and had ties or whatever, but I think it's good too that we were able to have those adverse moments for these stretch of games coming up, because I think it's going to help us in the long run.
When you look at the Vikings offense, obviously it's been inconsistent at times, but when they're clicking, what have you seen when they are really good? What's kind of been their key to success?
Yeah, they got playmakers. They got really good receivers. They got good backs. And they got explosive offense. They got a good OC that calls really good plays, O'Connell. And it's going to be a challenge for us, just like any other week. But we got to make sure that we're on our P's and Q's and make sure that we know exactly what we're doing within these calls so we can go out there and execute and be a dominant defense.
Tex, you mentioned the weapons like Justin Jefferson and Addison. What about J.J. McCarthy? What did you see from him?
He's a young quarterback still, so he has his fair share of mistakes here and there. But when you got guys around him that can be able to, turn those, 1-yard passes or tunnel screen, whatever it is, they could turn that to touchdowns, to 20-yard gains, 10-yard gains, whatever. When you have playmakers around him, obviously it helps him a lot. But I think he's still a young quarterback. He's learning, and he's going to have his growing pains, and I'm sure he's going to get a lot better. But I think right now he's really young, and I think it shows.
You've seen a lot of veteran quarterbacks this season. You kind of lick your chops a little bit to get a rookie, and know that there's going to be those growing pains that he's working through.
Wait, say that one more time?
You kind of lick your chops a little bit to get a rookie and know that there's going to be those growing pains that he's going through?
I mean, yeah. I think it kind of depends because, like I said, if you can get the ball to Justin Jefferson, which is going to be, you can always get the ball to him, get the ball to all these playmakers. They can
cover for you in that aspect. So I think in some ways you definitely are like, okay, here's going to be a lot of ops. But I also think that they have really good playmakers where, they can kind of make the game a little bit easier for him. And sometimes that negates, how many options that we have. But like I said, I think their OC is really good. I think they're going to try to pass the ball. So from a back-end perspective, we got to make sure that we're on, our job and make sure we're doing what we're supposed to do.
Last week you were talking about probably to get some ops. You did get the ops.
Mm-hmm.
I think 2 of their 3 touchdown drives came after you guys had a chance at an interception.
Mm-hmm.
You were on the field for, I think, 31 defensive snaps because in the middle of that, just a 3-and-out for the offense. How tough is that when you're sitting there trying to get a team off the field that's going on 4th down and the ops come and it's just not able to squeeze it?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. Anytime when you get an opportunity and you can't seize that op, obviously it's tough. And, I think we've talked about it just amongst, the back end, the defense about, once that opportunity presents itself, we can't leave any meat on the bone. That's what we preach pretty much all the time when we talk about the ball. So we know that it's very critical. Once we see that ball, we got to, that ball is supposed to be ours every time, and there's no excuses, ifs, ands, or buts about it. So we've took accountability in that aspect, but we still don't change our preparation. We still go to work the same way we did before. We just kind of, put a little bit more like, okay, emphasis on it, like, okay, we need to get this done. So, but we don't really change, how we're going out here and catching jugs every day, making sure that, when we're in individuals doing ball drills, making sure we catch every ball, making sure no ball touch the ground. We just got to make it happen when it's game time.
How do you feel the team did with the jugs and extra practice today there? How was
good.
It with catching it?
Good. It's always good, but if it don't translate to the game, it don't mean nothing. So, that's how we have to view it. That's what the mindset has got to be. And we gotta make sure that when it's game time, those things have to translate. And if they don't, then we pay the price by being on the field longer than we're supposed to.
Were you able to translate those 34-mile-an-hour wind gusts today in practice?
Hell no. We couldn't translate that. That's something that that's just that's the nature. We can't do nothing about that.
You said that you had a finger on that deep shot.
Yeah.
Did you feel like you had a chance to catch that as you tracked it, or did it just get too far ahead?
Nah. Well, I did at first, but if you go back and look at the play, first of all, it was an offensive pass interference. They don't call it for some reason, but it was an offensive pass interference. I was pushed. I felt like I was running. I'm like, oh yeah, this is an easy one, and I got pushed, and it kind of pushed me in front of the ball, and I was trying to the ball went it was just a bad angle, but it is what it is. Hopefully that play come back and I make that one hand. I'm gonna be like OBJ catching like that. So yeah.
Speaking of translating, obviously Jeff Hafley's gotten a lot of praise this year for you guys. Brian Flores is we're going to be talking about him this week. How much of that coordinator impacts game day versus players impacting game day? A defensive coordinator's impact is what in your mind?
Scheme. When the DC is able to scheme up the other side, obviously the players are going to play and make plays. But when you have a really good DC that can scheme better than the opponent's OC, that helps tremendously. I think Hav has done a hell of a job with that. Like I told y'all earlier in the year, we meet a couple times a week. So I already know, what he's thinking, why he's thinking it. And I think that's where, that really comes into play. When you, especially when you have two teams that both have really good players. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it can stall out and you just got to. But if that scheme is what it's supposed to be and if it's dialed up the right way, it's ultimately going to put you in a better position to be able to make those plays. And I think Hav does that all the time.
Hey, going back to those missed opportunities,
Mm-hmm.
as the leader of that group, are there any punishments in the DB room for dropping?
The punishment gonna be when you go to the contract table. I mean, that's really what it is. If you don't catch the picks, if you don't capitalize on the opportunities, when it's time to sit down and okay, let's talk numbers, that's when that comes into effect. So I don't think you really need to have a punishment outside of that, because that is the biggest punishment that you can have. So.
Do you give, like, Carrington's played great
Yeah.
the last couple weeks, right? He's got 2 that he probably would like to have back. Do you give him grief about that, or do you?
Nah, I mean, you just, like, it happens, and then you just, like, all right, next play. You can't dwell on it. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's no punishment, because it's like, we need to move on. You know what I mean? Because you don't want to keep talking about it, and then now, you know, you get a guy thinking about it, and then now when the opportunity shows up again, then it happens again because he's thinking about what happened before, you know, and it's just a cycle. So if anything, it's more so like, it's encouragement of like, okay, let's get this done. The next time you get an op, you got to catch him. You know what I mean? So that goes for all of us, though. So we just kind of keep that mindset, and we keep that communication, you know, with each other, so that way, you know, we don't get in our heads and start overthinking when the ball does come our way.
Your defensive passing numbers are very good across the board, except for the picks. Obviously, can you win a Super Bowl that way? I mean, you guys make everyone compete for everything. You just haven't taken the football away as much.
Yeah.
Can you win a Super Bowl that way?
Yeah. But I think, like, even with that, the picks are going to come. Just believe me when I tell you, the picks will come and the turnovers will come. It's not all the way there right now, but they will come, and when they do, I'm going to come back to the camera and I'm like, I told you, like, it's going to happen. So sometimes you got to be patient. Like, that's what, you know, this league is about sometimes. You got to be patient. You can't, you know, over like, oh, we need it. Nah, just be patient, and once they do come, we just got to make them.
Yeah, and I'm asking that genuinely, too.
Yeah.
Look at every other number. I mean, your average yards per pass, you don't give up explosive plays.
Yeah.
All those things are right at the top of the league.
For
right?
sure.
So is that enough, right? Can you just make everyone work for it the way you
Hell yeah, because eventually they're going to stop. They're going to be like, all right, we got to force. Eventually they're going to be like, all right, we can't run outs. The X can't run an out. They're going to have to push the ball down the field. You know what I'm saying? So also, that's how I feel like that's why we're not getting some of these picks, because a lot of teams aren't even trying to throw the ball down the field. You know, if you just look at how these teams are playing, they're not trying to be aggressive. They don't have the aggressive mentality. They're more so of like, you're milking the clock, you're running the ball, you know, dink and dunk here and there. So it's going to be harder to get those picks. Now, punch-outs, that's a whole different thing. We got to be better with that. But when it comes to actually taking the ball out the air, as far as opportunity-wise, it's not – we're not even getting some of these ops to really seize those ops. You know what I mean? So.
Next, speaking of scheme, you mentioned earlier, and I don't know if you already answered this, so apologies first and foremost. Do you like when half dials it up where you get to come off the edge and do a safety blitz and potentially go and sack the quarterback?
Hell yeah. I like blitzing. Yeah, I do. That's my answer to that. So hopefully we get some more of those dialed up. Yeah, we'll get it done though.
Did you have to do anything to protect the shoulder today? Did you wear anything in practice?
Yeah, no. I'm not going to get into the details of everything, but shoulder's feeling good. You know, obviously practice day, feeling good. So, we'll be good going forward.
Emmanuel came in here as an undrafted guy at a D2. How have you seen him grow into a guy that can really step in when a guy like Josh goes down? Yeah,
I think, he's been a guy who's, I think it's tough in the situation anytime, like I've said before, where you're just not getting as many reps, but I think he's somebody that's been dialed in at all times and learned from, the opportunities he has had out there. And I feel like he's just got better and better every time. And obviously, I think his understanding of the offense is, at an all-time high right now, and it's definitely something that I think everybody's kind of pushed him for, and he's responded well. So, I think obviously with Josh going out last game, it was good to see him out there, and I think he's a guy he's made some big-time plays when his number's been called.
What do you have to do to be really productive against a Brian Flores defense?
Yeah, it's a defense we've seen a good amount over the last couple of years, and it's a very good defense. I got a lot of respect for him and what they do, where they throw a lot of different looks at you, and I think they try and make it tough on offenses to figure out what they're doing and kind of get a beat on what they're throwing at you. But a lot of different personnels, a lot of different pressures, things like that. So something you just got to study throughout the week a good amount and understand that there will be some wrinkles in there, and you never really know what to expect when you get to the game. But just have a plan for a little bit of everything and just stick to our rules and our fundamentals as an offense.
Does it feel like it's been a minute since you played a division game?
Definitely, yeah. It's been a weird schedule for us, playing obviously week 1 division game and now I don't even know what week it is, 12, yeah, and so it's been a long time. So it's felt weird, and obviously we'll have a couple back-to-back right now. So definitely a stretch that we'll have to take advantage of.
I was looking at league-wide. It appears they're doing a lot of that backloading divisional schedules for a lot of teams. Do you think that adds some intrigue where going into this late in the season, really it's still anyone's division when it's made that way on the schedule?
Definitely. I think you look at the teams in our division, everybody's in it. Everybody's kind of got similar records, and obviously, like you said, we'll be playing everybody here at the back half. So definitely some games we're going to have to go out there and win. But like you said, the NFC North is wide open, and we got to take advantage of these games, go out there and go win it. But yeah, like you said, it's an interesting schedule.
Back to the shoulder. Does it, other than you not wanting to get hit there, does it limit you at all? I mean, it's not your throwing shoulder, so that doesn't really come and go. Play all, does it?
No. I mean, obviously, being the left side, it's something that you don't have to worry about. If it was the right side, it'd be a different story, throwing the ball wise. But you just gotta try not to take as many hits, and obviously be smart. Scrambling and getting outside the pocket, things like that, not taking any unnecessary shots.
How hard is it to decide? Sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead, Wes.
As far as Chris Brooks, what did you think of that pass rep he had against? On the play that led to Savion's catch, and also just what's the value of having someone like that can hold up in that kind of protection?
Yeah, no, it was awesome. I think as a running back, being able to step up and take on a linebacker right there coming at you full speed is big time. But it's something that we practice throughout training camp when these guys are doing one-on-one pass pro, and something that he takes a lot of I don't know what the word is. That's what he kind of prides his game on, is being able to come in those situations, and obviously he wants to be able to run the ball and catch the ball, but when you do stuff like that and put it on tape, I think it gives everybody more confidence to keep giving you the rock and give you some more opportunities. But Chris is a guy that it's whatever it takes. He's kind of earned his way in here and done some great things for us. But, that was a really big-time rep by him, and obviously led to, a big-time play down the field. So that's, it's just the mindset he has, whatever it takes, he'll go out there and do it.
Do you see that in real time, that block, or did you not see it until on film?
No, yeah, I don't see that in real time. That's one thing that, you come back to the sideline to see the pictures of it, and then obviously after the game you see. But, that was big time. He had a couple other, pass pro reps that, he's able to come across and see some pressures that might be hard to see for other guys. So he's done a great job in pass pro.
Jordan, overall, how do you feel the operation went with Sean Ryan, first full game at center? Just how did that connection kind of go through the last game?
Yeah, no, it was good. I think there's stuff to build on in terms of just, having a clean operation of us with our exchanges. But as far as, making calls, things like that, I think he did a good job of communicating to other guys, make sure we're all on the same page. And there'll be stuff for him to, build on personally, obviously. But, it's a good test. Obviously, Dexter Lawrence, he's going up against a really good, guy kind of sitting right in his lap the whole game. So it was a good test for him, but I think he did a good job.
Back to Toyotathon, Jordan. I know it's kind of silly in a way. What do you think of all that? It is a big talking point. I don't know if you think about it all, but
no, I think it's just something that's cool. It's just something that obviously I think that the fans kind of took it and ran with it, and made it a thing. And so now it's here. But I think it's definitely interesting. You look at the stats and things like that. It's a wild scenario, but I think it's cool. And obviously some cool things have happened off of it.
So it's apparently, according to Toyota, it actually started last Sunday. So you got 30 touchdowns and 2 interceptions during Toyotathon. I don't care about the Toyotathon, but it is the second half of the season, which is the point of my question here. Why do you seem to get so much better as the season goes on?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's for everybody on our offense. I think we start to get in a better groove and start to get in that rhythm of making plays and going out there. And, I think for me it's just understanding, I've been through some games now throughout the season and understanding what I need to do in kind of every situation, just being smart with the ball and finding completions at all times, and then guys just making plays. But I think as the season goes on, I think we, build that confidence, getting a little bit of a groove in all phases, and go out there and make plays.
Matt said earlier that Minnesota's defense is really good at forcing fumbles, applying pressure to the quarterback. What challenges do you think that Minnesota will present this Sunday?
Yeah, I always think it just starts with the different looks they present, pre-snap and obviously post-snap with the different pressures they bring. And it's one of those defenses that I think they're always applying pressure to the offense, and you got to be able to respond. And like he said, take care of the ball. I think they do a good job hunting the ball. And I think some of just the confusion they try and create and the chaos they try and create, kind of forces quarterbacks to make some bad decisions sometimes and get sped up with some of the pressures. So obviously, you just got to be smart with the ball, understand kind of what the different pressures they're bringing, the different looks I'm seeing, and knowing where to go with the ball and finding completions.
Obviously, Jaden didn't practice today yet, but he posted on social media a picture of him in full uniform.
Mm-hmm.
Have you talked to him a lot, and how much is he itching to get out there, A, and B, what does he mean to your offense when he is on the field?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, he brings a very dynamic aspect to our offense, and I think you've seen that over the last couple of years with him here. He's a playmaker, and obviously, I think the last play of this season for him that he played before he got hurt was a touchdown. That obviously got called back, but definitely just a playmaker that we've been missing. So, I don't know what the timeline is for him. Obviously, he's itching, he's ready to get back, and he's been doing some good things on the side as well. But it's obviously a different offense when you have all your playmakers out there. So we've been missing him, and obviously can't wait to get him back.
In terms of running down the field, how hard is it to want to go out of bounds, to want to slide? Like on the hit you took on your left shoulder, it's one that in hindsight, I shouldn't have done that, but in the moment, how hard is it to not want to get those extra yards?
Yeah, it's hard. I think it's just a situation, and I think in that one, I tried to pump fake and thought I got the guy to get off his feet, and he did a good job of not really going for it, and I kind of got caught after that. So it's tough. It's a tough situation, but I think at all times you just got to be smart. I think taking a hit like that, puts it back in perspective. Like, I don't want to take these shots, and I got to get down and things like that. So, you just always got to have in the back of your mind, be smart. Obviously, there's situations where, sometimes it's needed. You got to try and go get that first down. But in that situation, just got to be smart. But, taking a hit like that definitely always, kind of wakes you back up and be like, hey, let's be smart, let's slide and not take some of those shots.
Did the ref or the official say something to you? Because I thought for a second he told you to go get checked out. Was that part of it, or did he signal?
Yeah, he did. He thought that he said by the look in my eye, he thought it might have been a headshot and a maybe concussion. So he wanted me to go and do the the concussion protocol that they do. So I think it was normal for him, and I was trying to tell him that it wasn't my head, right. But you're not going to win that one. So just went out there. But yeah, he thought I might have taken a shot to the head.
So if he didn't tell you, hey, you got to go out, what would you?
Yeah, I don't know. I think after I got up and moved around, I would have started feeling that a little bit. But it's tough to say. But I think I probably would have ended up right where I was. Who knows when though?
What's your confidence level in Luke?
Yeah, it's good. Obviously, like we've talked about before, with Tuck being down, he's going to have more opportunities, and I think it's something we just got to keep building on with him. But I think he's been a guy who's made a lot of plays, and now it's just got to keep translating to the games and things like that. But he's done some good things, and I think we just got to keep building. And I think for him, it's having that confidence when he goes out there with everything he does, that he can go make plays. But everybody's confident, Luke.
So even when he's a good game like he had the other day, your confidence doesn't waver?
No, it's one of those things. Like I said, with anybody, a drop pass or things like that, you just got to play that next play. I think building guys up and always giving guys confidence, I think, is always the way to go, no matter who it is. So I think it's something that we'll just keep building with him. But no matter who it is, if it's me, having turnovers, I gotta have those guys around me that trust me to keep going out there and making plays, and know that the ball's gonna keep coming to you. You just gotta keep finding ways to improve and get better and better.
Is Josh kind of an interesting addition for you guys as far as what he can do? With that H-back run, I know Josiah did.
Wiley?
Yeah. And how he can kind of fit into like multiple spots.
Yeah, no, it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, came in as a tight end, but I think any way you can get on the field and make plays will be important. And if that's what it is kind of being in that hybrid, kind of F, kind of Y role. It's it's whatever it takes, and I think that's his mindset too. Trying to get on the field, and obviously he had a pretty cool touchdown last week, so stuff to keep building on with him. But I think he's done some good things as well, and if he's got to play fullback, I think he'll have the right mindset to go out there and do it.
You're no stranger to poor weather games, to wind and cold. But when you're able to have as many passes downfield last week that just are on the money, what does that do for your confidence and maybe your play caller's confidence in doing more of that, even though it's getting colder and windier?
Yeah, I think for, first off, as the player, throwing it, I think it just, builds you up and gives you more confidence to keep throwing it the way you are. I think if you have a couple balls that come out, not the right way, you might be like, I got to maybe adjust some things, and you might be thinking about it a little more. And then if you don't have that, you're just confident and just go out there and play. And that was kind of my mindset pregame, is obviously it was going to be windy, and I just got to, trust my fundamentals and understand how I got to throw it, and just got to come out as a tight spiral. If it doesn't, that wind will get to it a little bit. So, and then like you said with Matt, I think, he comes out and he sees that I'm confident and feeling good throwing the ball downfield, things like that. He'll continue to call those deep shots and, won't let the wind kind of be a factor for us.
How is that Matt said on Monday that it's just about the swelling since it's a contusion? Where are
Yeah.
you at with that now? How are you feeling?
Yeah, it's mostly just the swelling. I'm truly like really day to day, but I also know me, I'm always try to, go. I never really believe in missing games or anything like that. Last week I felt like, I didn't want to be a hindrance to the team, and I already felt like, a few plays that I try to play through it, I didn't feel like myself. I couldn't really run. Even on the pass play, I went out for a route. I'm like watching film, I'm limping. So it's really just about, being able to go out there and still play and play, efficiently, but also, not hinder the team.
Because you got hurt in the first quarter and then
Second play of the game.
Second play of the game.
Yeah.
And then tried to play through it. And it wasn't like a twist, it was just hitting your knee on the
Yeah, it was just hitting it, and then, when you hit it, any part of your knee, when it swells up, you can't really bend it. So that's the thing. Like, I could play through the pain, but I couldn't really get through the motion. And that's the thing. So, I couldn't really run. And I even felt myself, like, a couple of them runs I got afterwards, I was kind of protecting it a little bit, and I was not running like how I run. And that was my biggest thing. I didn't want to be a hindrance to the team.
What was the sense of relief like for you, though, Josh, the fact that, however this week shuffles out, that you don't end up, relatively speaking, being okay?
Yeah, I mean, I think that was the biggest thing, because the way it felt, I'm like, it's no way that nothing is wrong. Even looking at my, MRI and just seeing how much, swelling and stuff I had in there, that was just the main thing. And really now, today, it's already, I would say 50%, really probably 60% of the swelling is gone. It's just about getting the range of motion back.
So, Josh, how much pain were you in? Like, the cameras could catch you.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, your pops at home could
He
see
did.
it.
Yeah,
the
that's
wincing
funny.
that you were doing
Yeah.
was pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Just, we understand how you are.
Yeah.
You're going to push through it. But where do you kind of put the pain scale?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny you say that, because my dad called me, and that was the first thing he said. I know you was hurting for real, because I know you. And he was like, I see you was trying to battle through it. But it was one of them things where I was trying to battle through the initial hit. I was like, But then, sometimes, especially in this league, when you get hurt, you feel it for a little bit and it eases up, or it just stays where it's at. And it was one of them things where it was progressively just getting worse and worse. And I was like, I really was like, I don't know if I can do it, And obviously on that surface too, that was another thing. But the pain, it was up there. It was up there. I mean, even now, I feel good. I can walk, I can run and things like that. I'm not going to say I'm 100%, but I'm definitely made a lot of strides.
So you mentioned earlier that you're always going to push to play. We know that about you.
Yeah.
Can I argue the other position of you got 7 really big games here down the stretch?
Yeah.
Is there part of you that has to think, okay, as much as I want to play, he's playing pretty well, maybe I shouldn't? Or does that not enter your thoughts?
No, it's definitely something. I would say the only reason why I'm thinking about it, not necessarily the 7 games, more necessarily the quick turnaround Thursday. And it's one of those things that's like, okay, do you play and potentially, re-aggravate it to get more swelling, and then you miss, that next week and maybe even potentially the next week, or do you just rest and go Thursday? That's honestly something that I've been thinking about, contemplating more and more as we getting closer. But what I can say and what I can guarantee is I'm gonna put my best foot forward, and if I feel like I can go and it's not gonna hinder the team, then I'm gonna go. But it's gonna truly be a game time decision.
Josh, you're a first rounder out of Alabama. Emmanuel's an undrafted guy at a D2 school. What has allowed him to get to a point where, he's not Josh Jacobs, but he's a pretty darn good running back if he has to start on Sunday?
First thing I would say is I love the guy, man, and as much as he works, how hard he works, but not only that, man, he's very coachable. I mean, he comes up to me probably every day and asks me, you know, something that I think that he should work on, or what did I see on this play, or how do I view certain plays, and things like that. And you know, he's willing to learn, and he always tries to implement that into his game. And I always try to tell him, man, just be who you are, keep running how you run, and make sure you're running hard, and just be who you are, have fun. I mean, at the end of the day, you wouldn't be able to be here in this position if you couldn't, you know, ball, and if you wasn't, you know, one of those guys. So I think the biggest thing for him is just having that confidence, you know, making sure he's 100% in the playbook with everything that he needs to do to, you know, to get his job done. But he's going to do his job. He's going to do his thing, man. He's a good back.
I was curious, that pass blocking rep from Chris Brooks.
Yeah.
When you guys are watching that as a group,
Yeah.
one, is there an instant reaction from the group?
Yeah.
And then how do you guys like celebrate those kind of plays that are?
Honestly, we get more hyped about those than we do about the runs, because it's just like, you know, it's something. I tell them, pass pro. I told them today, 65% of it is knowing who to block, and the rest is wanting to block. And obviously, you can always correct, you know, technique and stuff like that, but you got to have the want to go out there and do that, especially with guys that's 30 pounds heavier than you, and to be able to just strain and, you know, really lock in. So we seen that play. We always say it. If you give Jordan time, he gonna make plays, and that was probably the biggest play for our group, you know, in that game. So shout outs to him, man. I mean, Chris is a dog. I don't think that he gets enough appreciation and credit of who he is to this team, honestly, whether it's special teams or whether it's in our room. But yeah, man, I'm happy for him. Hopefully his role keeps expanding a little bit.
How much of that pie chart in pass blocking is technique? Because like you can know who to
Yeah.
block, you can want to block. But
Yeah.
aren't some guys just better at it than others?
I would say yes, but it's really, believe it or not, it's really want to. And the reason why I say that is because obviously knowing who you go to is key. But when you get there, it's a certain mentality you got to have. You know, it's like sometimes we on DNs, we know we going to lose, but it's about still putting up the good fight, you know, still going in there, and, you know, they got a 6-yard head start, you know, full speed run on you, and you basically taking a blow, but having the technique to know, like, okay, I got a strain, hold on to him, give him a little bit of time. And most of the times when we do it, we know it's big plays, and it's a lot of, you know, history in that for us. So that's something that'd be on our mind.
I just asked Mike about you a minute ago, and he said that you'd put your life on the line for the team. As far as playing hurt, where does that mentality come from? Like, if you didn't play this game,
Yeah.
like nobody in this locker room would think anything of it, probably. So, why is it so important? Where did that come from?
I think it's just me being a competitor, honestly. And honestly, not only that, just not being able to, you know, I feel like a big thing about me, and when it comes to the guys in this locker room, is a certain respect level that we have to have for each other and for our craft. And for me, man, it's big. It's hard for me to be able to look at somebody in their eyes and quit on them, or look at them in their eyes and be like, man, I didn't give it everything I had and for you. You know, we in this together, and that's something that I always been a big stickler of, because, you know, even now, you know, I'm taking less practice reps, and another guy got to go up and do more, and, you know, and that affects him and his body and everybody else. So it's not wanting to let nobody down, but it's also having the mentality to still want to be great and excel in everything you do.
Josh, I'm sorry if you were asked this. When's the last time this season that you felt healthy?
Man. I don't know. That's a good that's a good question.
Going in the way back.
Yeah, that's a good question. Probably before Arizona?
Yeah.
Before Arizona was probably like the last time and then even then, you know, you still got
Dallas thing.
Dallas, yeah, see? So yeah, probably going into Dallas. Week 3. Yeah.
Is that common? Is that like every other
Yeah.
season, or is that maybe even a little bit more than usual?
Yeah, I mean, that's common for our position. I mean, we play, you know what we do. We get hit by 6 people, and, you know, people stepping on you in the piles, you know, all of those type of things, and we can't duck it. Like, you know, sometimes receivers can catch a ball and they know they about to get hit and go down. We can't avoid nothing. Like, we gotta. That's the nature of our position, and it's something where you know that you're gonna be banged up going into each week, but it's just more so about how banged up you are, and how do you feel, because you're never gonna feel 100. That just is what it is.
The reason I'm wondering, I know Jason asked you about this too, but This offense needs you at your absolute best to be at its absolute best, right? At what point does it become sitting for a week might be best for the team to accomplish that?
Yeah, I mean that's definitely something that we think about, that I've been thinking about. But it's also, you know, I know how, like you say, how much the guys depend on me, and in the sense of not just what I do on the field, but you know the energy, the mentality, the you know the confidence. Honestly, I think a lot of that plays a factor into it. You know, even the play call. Like I think a lot of that plays in a factor of, you know, what we do. But at the end of the day, my biggest thing is, like I said, is not to be a hindrance. So if I feel like I'm gonna hurt the team in any kind of way, then I have to be realistic and have a, you know, an honest conversation with myself and Good and with Matt about, you know, what the plan is going forward.
With what you have going on, is it feasible that at any point you could get back to feeling healthy if you continue playing, or do you need to take a week off to do that?
Yeah, I think for right now, I think the pain is going to be what it is. I don't think the pain really too much is what bothers me. It's more so just about getting a range of motion. Like if I can't run, I can't do anything, you know, like, and that's just me being all the way honest. But if it's just because I feel it a little bit, then I'm going to go. I mean, I can push through that. Mentally, I'm tough enough to push through that. But if I can't physically run, then it's going to be what it is.
First year, in what ways does that make it different for you as a pass rusher?
I feel like it doesn't make a difference. I think that's just more the back end. You know, for me, I'm rushing to get there as fast as possible every time. But, you know, on the back end, there's a lot of disguise, different looks they got to show to try to confuse them and slow his process down to help me out.
If you're able to get to him in, say, the first quarter, does that make a difference the whole game if you're in the guy's head, so to speak?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, anytime you get to a quarterback first quarter, first play, maybe not sack him, but constant pressure, it definitely makes him look over his head a little bit, kind of know where you're at, and if he's looking at you, he's not looking downfield, so we're doing something right.
Mike, it's been a bit since you guys played a division game way back in week 1. What do you make of the NFC North?
Oh, you know, this is one of the toughest divisions in football, if not the best division, besides with the NFC West. So, you know, this is a competitive, very competitive division. You got, you know, multiple teams over 6 wins right now, halfway through the point. So, you know, we got to come together. You know, even though the Vikings had early struggles, they showed times of winning and coming back and being resilient and being that team that we seen last year. And obviously that came with McCarthy being out. You know, that's kind of when a couple of losses unfolded when they went against some of the better teams in the NFC. So this is a really good team, and we got to come prepared.
Obviously, you weren't here last year, but this team, the Packers, won 1 division game last year.
Yeah, we already won one, so we can only go up from here.
Okay.
You know Aaron Jones pretty well, right?
Yeah.
What makes him a difficult guy to get on the ground?
I just think he runs for every yard. You know, he runs with passion, purpose behind every carry, and I think he has great vision. You know, I think I've competed with him when I was at Dallas, and he was here, and he's always had some pretty good games. But you know, I think we're a great front, and I mean, basically what we've been saying, if they're going to come run it 35 times, we got to be prepared for that.
Like, I know it's always just one game at a time, of course, but how do you just view this? 7 games left, 5 of them are in the division, you know, and just how this is kind of shaping up down this.
I mean, it's shaping up like how you want it. You know, this is playoff football. These are all teams that you're eventually going to see trying to get to that Super Bowl. So we got to compare it. It's almost December. November's almost up, and this is what we need. You know, I understand we got injuries and we're tested in all different ways, but adversity is when teams rise. And, you know, when guys get back and we continue getting healthy and we kind of know what we got from guys we didn't know and guys stepping up, I think we're going to be a really good football team.
Speaking of injuries, what did you know about Josh Jacobs when you got here, and what does it mean for a guy like that to go out there and practice today, just a few days after an injury?
I mean, Josh has always put the team before himself every single time, whether it was calf strains, whether it was hands, muscles. I mean, he's kind of always been that guy to be like, I'm pushing through it. I'm putting my life out here for y'all and let us know how much he cares about us. And, you know, that kind of shows you, like, his mental toughness, what he brings to this team, what he brings to the game. And you see it in his play style. I mean, his play style is aggressive as hell. That's how he attacks his treatment. That's how he attacks, you know, his practice regimen. And he feels like if he was capable to practice today, that, you know, that means a lot, having one of your leaders out there on the field, knowing what he's going through. That's challenging as hell. But, you know, that's kind of the guy he is, and I couldn't be more happy to be his teammate.
How do you feel like the run game defense was against the Giants?
Good. I mean, they had, I think maybe 2 or 3 runs that got out, but I think most of the game, I mean, we had it 2 and 3 yards a carry. We was pretty good, but of course, eventually every team's going to get 1 or 2 runs that kind of make it the yards per carry jump a little bit. But I mean, we held them 19 points, so the run couldn't have been that great.
You got plenty of experience being double teamed.
Yeah.
It's been that way for a while. When did you be able to, reconcile it with you that it's going to happen all the time, and then you just have to deal with it? I mean, have you get to that point?
Yeah, and then guys remind me that's what comes with $47 million. Like, you think you're being paid that much just because you can't do your job at a high level? Like, that's what's going to come. That's come with the territory. So I just got anticipated. Like, I know it's coming. The guys know it's coming. It's just preparing for it. How do you beat it? You got to find a way. I seen guys on film find a way, and that's what I got to continue to do is find a way. That's all it's about, finding a way. There's, like, no excuses, no whatever. Double teams is part of the game. Chips are part of the game. But I got to find a way to get home and bring constant pressure and bring the other guys around me better.
Mike, you told us after the Giants game you felt like the defense didn't play up to its standard, largely because the 20 points you guys expected over the less. But when you watched the tape, when you went back to look at it, what stood out that you guys need to fix for this weekend?
Yeah, we just got to tackle better. We got to tackle better. We got to come off blocks better, stay square. Like I said, how did those couple runs get out? That kind of made it big because we got out our fundamentals and technique. We need to play a full 4 quarters of pure fundamentals and technique. Everyone has to step up. It's not just me. It's not just a few of the guys that, obviously we're all looking at because of how much they make, but every single player that's been drafted and maybe hasn't had a lot of playing time that has opportunity this week, we all got to step up and play well.
Mike, going to go back to the double teams and triple teams in practice. Do you get to practice that basically, get a feel for when double teams and chips are coming? Are you simulate it much in practice or in training?
You can't practice. No player wants to come out there and hit their teammate, and this is practice. You're trying to gear up for Sunday, so there's no way of practicing or gearing up for it. It's just one of those things. On Sunday you're gonna feel it, and that's up for your coaches and your training staff to take care of you during the week to prepare for it on Sunday.
Mike, you talked about tackling. Is it more desire and energy, or is it fundamentals? The first 2 weeks of the season, you guys were great at tackling.
All football is fundamental technique. I think as people, we all find a way to get complacent, or we might think he's down, or you might think, there's no way he's getting out. But it needs to be 11 has to the ball, and I think, one thing I do pretty well is I run to the ball. And if your best players are running to the ball and they're doing what they need to do, other people, it's a standard, and it starts with me and it starts with everyone. So complacency, riding to the ball, getting them to the ground, it's a standard and we got to follow it. And if we can't do that, then we can't win a lot of football games.
If Lucas comes back this week, how much of a boost is that to the pass rush?
It's a big boost, but I'm not going to expect too much out of him. You know what I mean? This is one of them games, I understand he's missed 5 weeks. His conditioning, whatever it is, his body getting ready, he got to transition back in the game of football. We have not to look ahead, but it's kind of a short week next week, so we're not going to try to run him into the ground. You know what I mean? And knowing, we want him for this longevity around. Like we said, we got 7 division games, so we got some fast turnarounds, and so it's going to be interesting to see how the coach is using him. But me personally, just having him back is everything. It gives us more depth, more room to play with, bring bigger packages out there on the field. It just helps the team in every which way.
How much does it help that you've already had a short week for next week? Because sometimes, once you get to this point, you haven't had one yet. Does it help that you kind of know the process, or is it you're all football players, you've done it before?
Yeah, we're all footballers. We've done it before. It's part of the game. We got a Friday game this year where I just realized, so we got a few. So, it's just part of the game, and either way, you got to prepare the same way and come with the same mentality.
Like on Sunday, you talked about how teams are often doing things that go against the grain of your film study, the screens and checkdowns, just running it more. Are you starting to just expect that more? How do you balance what you see on the film versus what you've seen teams do to break the trends?
Yeah, teams made me better as a player, as a run defender, understanding technique, fundamentals. What am I looking at? The way teams are attacking us, there's no way to get better. You know what I mean? Because I tell them the only way that we're going to change it is if we get better. That's the only way to stop it. So it's making us all better. And yeah, you kind of expect it. We look at film, we're like, all right, well, against this team they threw it 35 times, and there might have been 15 true dropbacks against us. They might throw it 20 times, it might be 10 boots though. You might see 10 boots, 5 screens, and 5 true dropbacks. Like, it's crazy. So, you know, it's something that we got to understand. They're not going to allow us rush. We got to make them let us rush. And, you know, we got to put points up, and we got to get stops early on, and we got to get the turnovers when they're in front of us.
How do you see teams react when you and Rashawn line up next to each other?
They probably get a little nervous, and as they should. I think, you know, we one of the best duos in the NFL.
I mean, how have they dealt with you two guys? Has it been 3-on-2 almost always?
Yeah, I mean, of course. They're going to send 2 my way, and it might be 4-on-2. I didn't see those. Or 5-on-2. Like, it is what it is. If they want to max protect, then we're going to have better coverage. Like, it's kind of like, you know, pick your poison. If you're going to let us rush, then we'll go out there and be great too. You know what I mean? So that's kind of my mindset. If you're going to come let me rush, all right, well, the guy you paid and the guy we paid, we got to handle business and see who had the best night. But if you're going to go ahead and run and you want to play it safe, then play it safe. That's good football and, you know, analytically.
Michael, what allows you to get a sack at the end of a 16-play drive? I mean, I don't know if you were out there for all 16 plays.
Yeah.
But I imagine you were out there for a lot of them. I mean, is it just the conditioning?
Yeah, it's the conditioning, how I train, you know, like I think pushing yourself to the brink of breakdown during your off-season training, that's all part of it. Like, even though I didn't have camp, like, I was training my ass off. Like, I'm more than qualified and prepared for these moments, and that's why I'm brought here. Like, I'm not brought here to be on the sideline or, you know, like, I got in here because the high-velocity player continuously be able to go. And I don't think players can, like, that. I think that is the separation. Like, it's not because of guys can't or the guys aren't capable, but the separation is who's going to be more resilient. That's literally what football is. Who's going to strain more? Like, that's the mental side where you have to go a little crazy. You cannot play football if you're not crazy. Like, my mom says, like, I train my mom sometimes. She's like, are you crazy? You really think I'm going to keep doing this? Like, yeah, do you want to be great or not? Like, there's no drop-off. Like, whether I'm training my mom, my friends, it could be my girl, like, when we're training, like, we're training to be an athlete. Like, don't ask me to train you if you're not going to train to the brink of, like, ask my family group chat. We had the Lions Den. Like, I swear to God, like, this is, like, true stories. Like, they're like, bro, you almost broke me. Like, I got cousins throwing up. Like, we're going to train until we break down. Like, that is just part of it. Like, and that's the part that we have to fall in love with. It's the process. So when I get them 16-play drives or when teams are driving and they finally have to throw the ball, it's 4th and 4, it's 3rd and 4. It's like, finally, like, let's go. Like, I'm not going to waste my moment because I'm tired. Like, that is the epitome of, you know, stupidity. Like, you're going to waste your mind because your mind can't handle your body. You didn't train your body to handle what is finally in front of you, and this is what you've been waiting for. So that's just all mentality.
Is that rubbing off on your teammates?
Yeah. I remember, my Coach LaFleur, we started doing 2 minutes. He's like, no matter what happens, we're moving the ball. And, 2 weeks in, everyone was like, oh, my God, that 2 minute broke me. It's like 10, 12 plays in a row, like nonstop. And RG's like, and I'm like, this is what we need. Like, I'm like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, this is exciting. Like, and then, as the weeks go on, I'm like, y'all see, like, we getting that much better. So when I say, like, we've been working on this thing where we're getting tired and things not looking good, what is that coming from? So when we're training that way and we're doing it together, we're only going to get better. So that's why I feel like, beginning of the year, our 2 minutes and things were a little off. But now we've been finding ways to get out the field, win those games. I know we lost the one in Carolina. That really hurts, but we had to get back to our roots. And, I'm just happy that we're just continually getting better.
Two more from Mike. I don't know if we'll talk to you next week, but you're obviously used to playing on Thanksgiving. You played every Thanksgiving. Is that fun for you, playing on Thanksgiving?
Yeah, it is, because the rest of the weekend you can finally get back to the reality. I get the football part, but, sometimes it's good to just enjoy the holidays, with family, friends, your loved ones, like, get that night, and we're playing at noon. So, I think it's always a blessing. So, and being on prime time is always cool too. Like, it's just a cool experience, like, for everyone who's involved.
Welcome back. This one-on-one is brought to you by Brewpub. Lots of matzo pizza.
In that Big Apple, we finna get busy. Let's do it.
In the shotgun, Winston sets, throws, left side of the end zone. Intercepted! Intercepted by the kid! Evan Williams delivers in the left corner of the end zone.
You could make a pretty strong case that your interception against the Giants won the game. Tell me all about it. Give me the blow-by-blow.
And the Packers deliver the dagger.
So that play, obviously crucial play in the game. As soon as I get to my landmark, I look at the quarterback and he's looking at my side of the field. Put myself in a good position to play the corner out. Jameis is a guy that throws with anticipation. You got to know that. Was able to get me one to cap off that game.
Now, after the game in the locker room, you had a ball in your hand. So that was the game ball that you have your right after the game, which is always a really cool moment.
Yeah, man, it's a nice little memorabilia, nice little souvenir to have in your room. I mean, at least me. Until I get in the double digits, I'll probably be saving every one I get.
Y'all the reason I show up every day, give it all I got. I mean, it's always love for y'all. Let's keep going. It's a long road. We got to keep going.
You pack a real punch when you tackle. Is that technique or is that attitude?
Hand off to Barkley, taking down Evan Williams, knifing in on the blitz.
I think it's a mixture of both. Definitely got to learn how to tackle, how to use your leverage, and then it's also having that want to. Not everybody wants to put their face in the mess and get a little dirty. There's just a certain level of violence, certain level of aggression you got to play this game with. Always come with the right mindset, right attitude, and show up every Sunday like it means something.
You guys are about to begin a trip through the NFC North. Evan, what's it going to take to build on the victory over the Giants?
It's going to take a lot of grit, a lot of resiliency. I think we got to come in with the right mindset, understanding that each game is earned, not given. Sometimes it's not going to be pretty. They're going to be four-quarter fist fights. We just got to be ready to hang in there, ready to roll with the punches and then deliver some back ourselves.
Let's go. Go Pack, always.
Jacobs, and for my cause, my cleats, I'm supporting Lines of Life. We came up with a design. It's real trippy, but I liked it. One part of my family is Filipino and the other side is Cherokee. A lot of times, you know, on the reservations and things like that, it's a high suicide rate, and so I want to shine light on that community and the things that they go through on a day-to-day basis. I think My Cause, My Cleats is very important for the NFL because there's so many things out there that gets a positive light, that get shined on, that need help. You know, it's not always just like, you know, breast cancer. There's so many other forms of cancer, so many other forms of, you know, homelessness or any type of subject that I think that, you know, may not get as much light as it needs to. So to be able to go out here and represent them, I think that that's a positive thing.
Right now?
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm nervous.
Yeah!
Oh, yeah. What's up, y'all? This is Evan Williams, and for My Cause, My Cleats, I chose to support House of Hope. I was a big fan of the mismatched colors. I was a kid that grew up when I didn't have a fashion sense, wearing mismatched socks, mismatched shoes. Yeah, this kind of brought me back to my kid days. Obviously, you got the House of Hope symbol on the side, you got the number on the tongue. Yeah, these are sweet, man. My first year, I wasn't overly familiar with House of Hope. After, you know, being able to go and see the facilities that they have and kind of just see all the people that it impacts, it really, you know, touched something in me.
This is Matthew Golden, and for My Cause, My Cleats, I'm supporting Mothers Against Drunk Driving. Oh yeah, these nice, man. I like these. Oh, they did a good job. I like the details too, for sure. The white make it pop out a little bit, you know, with the yellow laces, and you can really see the wording real good on the cleats. So I feel like, you know, they got a good little view to them. You know, when I was 6, my best friend, which was my cousin, you know, she died. in a car accident going home, and I've always been against drunk driving, and I feel like it'll be special. So, that loss, is definitely still with us. Just a lot of people that go through stuff, and I feel like for us in the position that we're in, we can support those around us. So, yeah, I feel like it's very special for us to give back.
Single back offense, Love under center. Here's the handoff. Emmanuel Wilson finds a crease up
There
the
we go.
middle to the end zone. Touchdown!
Felt wonderful. I ain't been in the end zone since last year, so it felt good to actually get my first one of the season. Just continue to do what I do each and every day, get the best reps I can, and just put my best foot forward.
Emmanuel Wilson is proving to be more than reliable when called upon in a pinch. The same can be said for fifth-year pro Isaiah McDuffie on defense and special teams.
Isaiah's played a lot of football for us, and he's played in a lot of different positions. We all see his value and his worth.
And down he goes! Packers get the stop!
We feel confident we've got guys that are able to go in there and do their job, so our defense doesn't fall off a bit.
Hey everybody, it's Three Guys with Three Things. Michael, you're up.
Well, Larry, the division games of the 2025 schedule are finally here. The Packers have only played one so far. It was back in week 1 against the Lions. Now 5 of the last 7 in this regular season against the NFC North. And nobody in that locker room needs reminding that the Packers were 1-5 in division games last year. And the one was thanks to the fingertip of Carl Brooks with that blocked field goal in Chicago. If the Packers are going to make something different of this season after finishing 3rd in the NFC North last year, it starts this weekend against the Vikings.
Weston.
I want to dive a little bit into the story of Keyshawn Nixon. Minutes ago, we were talking with him in the locker room, and he brought up an interesting thing that we've all kind of written about and talked about the last couple years, but when you think back to his story, how he came here, didn't get tenured as a restricted free agent with the Oakland/Las Vegas Raiders. He comes to Green Bay, his first op, right? He's playing like coverage teams. He's a flyer on special teams, on punt units. Does a great job. Becomes an all-pro kick returner. Now and then obviously a nickel back. Then now he's playing perimeter quarterback. Think back to last year. I think it was actually that Vikings game where he started in earnest playing on the outside. And here we are, a little over a year later. The guy is tied for the league right now in pass deflections, 14, and has become that CB1 for Green Bay. He's still chasing that pick. He talked about it in the locker room. He came very close to it against the Giants, but he has a huge assignment this weekend, but this guy just continues to step up to the challenge.
Guys, the Minnesota Vikings will blitz early, often, and from anywhere.
Yeah.
And a couple things about picking up blitzes, because it will be one of the keys to the game, is that know who you got. Number one, know who you got going in. And the other thing is plan on that guy coming. Do not be that little leaguer with his knees knocking, hoping the ball does not get to him.
Yeah.
Plan on your guy coming and then take him on aggressively and with all the things the coaches have told you to do technique-wise. But plan on him coming. I mean, it's kind of deal where prepare for the worst, react to the rest. Guys, say that with me. Prepare for the worst and react to the rest. And that's Three Guys with Three Things.
The Vikings stumble off to Green Bay this week. They've lost 2 in a row, 4 of their last 5, sitting at the bottom of the NFC North. Packers just snapped a 2-game losing skid to make sure they remained right in the thick of it.
Loading up, gotta hurry, hit from behind, ball is out!
This is the first meeting between the two this year. Vikings taking on a defense that's been pretty stingy as of late, and an offense that woke back up after a 2-week nap. Forget 6-7, give the Cheese some 2-7. Green Bay putting up 27 points last week. That's the 5th time they've ended with exactly that.
Of dancing, floating in, and it is held on to by Wilson.
Had themselves a slurpy day versus the G-Men, 7 for 11 on 3rd down, 4 for 4 in the red zone. It's been pretty straightforward in their case, put up 27-plus points, 6-0-1 in those games. 0-3 in games where the offense didn't show up. 7, 13, and 10 points in those games. So what about Minnesota's defense? They held Chicago to 19 points, only 2 red zone trips allowed, 7 for 18 on third down, and the Bears are a top 10, 25-point-a-game outfit this year.
Looking deep, launching deep for Odunze, and it's incomplete.
The caveat, that was the 4th game they've held a team under 24 points, so 24-plus points allowed in 6 games. They also played the pass better last week compared to their 2025 resume, held Caleb Williams to 193 yards, just 6 yards per attempt, no TDs allowed, held him to a 68 rating.
Slinging out here to Burden, and he gets swarmed immediately for nothing.
Can they keep that up versus Jordan Love? He snapped a 2-game dud streak with a 2 TD, no INT day versus New York. Nothing crazy yards-wise, but a 100-plus rating over 7 yards per attempt.
Love, drop back, wide open man, it's the tight end Josh Wiley.
That is back-to-back games with less than 177 yards passing, and back-to-back games completing less than 60% of his throws. He took a couple of sacks on his 24 pass attempts.
Jordan Love, after taking that Flanagan Fowles hit, is going to the sideline.
But Love has only taken 16 sacks all year. Now he takes on the #1 blitzing team in the land. For the record, Love versus the Blitz in 2025. 9 touchdowns, only 1 pick, a 119 rate, so he's beat it plenty. Vikings had trouble taking Williams down at times. They were missing Jonathan Grenard, though, and they did finish him off twice at least.
Williams looking around and finally dropped.
Their DBs gave up 40 yards to Colston Loveland, 41 to Rome Odunze, 45 to Cole Kmet, so tight ends dinged him. Wasn't the position Love used versus the Giants. Only guys with 10-plus yards were wideouts. Matthew Golden, 24 yards. Savion Williams, 33. Christian Watson, 46, and 2 TDs. One a real beaut, Clark.
Floats it, Watson up top, it is caught!
Romeo Doubs led the team with 53 yards.
On the rollout, Love throws on the move, Romeo Doubs steps out inside the 15.
A couple of drops, or could have been more. They roll into this game with questions in the backfield. Josh Jacobs has a bum knee, so Emmanuel Wilson could lead the way. He scored versus New York, 40 yards.
Wilson slips through and scores to give Green Bay the lead. His first touchdown of the season.
If Jacobs makes a go of it, he comes in with a little mojo on his side at least. Was having a good game when he left, 5.7 a carry, 40 yards.
Josh Jacobs has been one of the most productive running backs in the NFL this year.
Vikings, usually a tough team to run on. Didn't handle DeAndre Swift great, 4.3 a run allowed to him, 90 yards, but they held Kyle Monangai to 1.9 a run, holding the Bears to 3.6 per when it was all over.
Here is a fumble, ball is loose on the ground, kicked way backwards.
Minnesota's defense did enough to win that game. They even played the shaggy roll on the game-winning field goal. Wasn't them that gave up the long kickoff return that set it up. And despite their offense handing them the lead late, J.J. McCarthy once again leading a late TD drive, KDOT would tell you 17 points is not enough. 3 for 11 on third down.
On 3rd and 3, McCarthy near side again, and he had Jefferson and sailed it way high. Wow.
Fewer than 23 points in 7 games after playing 10. Somebody's got to get on their or on McCarthy's, 16 for 32 versus Chicago, just 150 yards. The late TD stacked against 2 INTs, a 47 rating, has interceptions in all his games, so 5 straight games in his case. His play brought out the Boo Birds at home last week.
McCarthy, end zone, intercepted! And you got some Boo Birds here in Minneapolis.
Packers secondary he faces next just handled famous Jameis, holding Winston to less than 7 yards per attempt, a 71 rate. No TDs, picked him off.
Winston fires, end zone off target, picked off!
Sure, it was Winston, a backup to a backup, but their DBs are holding quarterbacks to a sub-90 rate for the year, and no team is allowing less than their 6 yards per attempt. And their defense, as a whole, has held their last 3 opponents under 21 points, held New York to 20.
Now Winston's going to take a deep shot, and that could have been picked by Nixon. Whoa.
So they've kept it under 21 points 7 out of 10 games. Gave up 57 yards to Isaiah Hodgins in their win over the G-Men, 51 to Tyrone Tracy. No one else cracked 40. Only Justin Jefferson with 40-plus versus the Bears. Jordan Addison had the late TD and 20 yards. Could have had more, but forgot his stickum maybe. Jalen Naylor, 16 yards. TJ Hawkinson, 39. JJ with 61.
McCarthy over the middle. He's got a completion. Justin Jefferson makes the catch.
But he was visibly frustrated having to play a role as a member of the Seaver family. McCarthy wasn't sacked on 32 pass attempts, so that didn't play a role in his growing pains. Chicago's pass rush, not as well equipped as Green Bay's. Micah Parsons, with 1.5 of the Packers' 2 Winston takedowns, leads the team with 8 now.
Here comes the rush, and down he goes! Packers get the stop.
Green Bay's front's play versus the run Week 11 gave up 142 yards on the ground, 88 to Tyrone Tracy on 4.6 a carry, but they also held Devin Singletary to 2.8 a run, holding New York to 3.7 on the day, which fits as they've been tough on runners all season.
They'll hand it off for Singletary.
Of course, there's Quay Walker running. That's why he went outside.
That's right.
Bang!
Vikings counter with Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason. Mason 45 yards and a touchdown, hefty 7.5 per try. Jones 70 yards on 4.4 per, so they come in with some mojo down low.
Jones slips through. There's a nice seam. Aaron Jones has a first down.
Longtime NFL North rivals, or NFL West rivals, or NFL Central rivals. They've been duking it out since 1961, 2 playoff meetings, 2012 and 2004.
As the NFC's lowest seed, Minnesota had pundits to prove wrong and Packers to pay back.
Dante takes the Matt Burke snap, rolls out to the left. He can run if he wants and he will. No, he passes. Caught at the 45, and it's caught by Mo to the 40. He's streaking to the end zone. Oh, right. Moss single coverage. Caught. Touchdown.
2 plays later, Antoine Winfield made it 2 possessions, 2 stops for the Vikings defense. And the Minnesota Moving Company then finished the job with an 8-minute drive that silenced the Lambeau faithful.
And the Minnesota Moving Company opened a massive hole for Ontario Smith.
Minnesota's first road playoff victory since 1997 punctuated an evening of Packer-felt purple payback and provides a launch pad for Minnesota's 2005 Super Bowl aspirations.
I'll tell you what, I couldn't be more proud of you guys to come in here with every bull and all the garbage we went through the whole season, to stick together. You showed a lot of fortitude. You showed me all the things that I thought you had.
Wakes me up from my sleep. My eyes are soaking wet from all the tears that I weep. When you're coming home is the question on my mind. But you never answer me, ignoring me all the time. Oh, I wish I could turn back the pages.
All I wanna do is make the whole crowd bounce, y'all. Bounce, y'all. Bounce, y'all. Bounce, y'all. Bounce, y'all.
The Packers and Vikings met in a crucial game on December 22nd, 1996, with playoff home field advantage on the line. Packers had a dominant performance on both sides of the ball. Brett Favre threw for over 200 yards and 3 touchdowns, and the Packers controlled the ground with 233 rushing yards as a team. The defense stepped up and shut out the Vikings in the second half. The Packers would win at 38-10 and clinch home field advantage on their way to winning Super Bowl 31. Memorable moments brought to you by Oneida Casino Hotel.